Let's get right into it. Number 10. Margarine. Back in the day, butter was king, and the dairy industry wanted to keep it that way. Then someone invented margarine, a cheaper alternative that tasted almost the same. The dairy industry had a meltdown. They went straight to the government and demanded a ban. And in a lot of places, the government actually listened. In the late 1800s, over 30 U.S. states made margarine illegal. The states that couldn't ban it passed laws forcing manufacturers to dye it pink. Not a nice pink. A gross, unappetizing, what is this thing pink? The idea was simple. If it looks disgusting, nobody will buy it. But people still bought it because it was cheap. So some states tried another tactic. They made it illegal for manufacturers to add any yellow coloring at all. Companies had to sell margarine in its natural, sickly white color, like lard. Then, they sold little packets of yellow dye separately. You'd buy your sad white margarine, take it home, and knead the yellow packet into it yourself. Picture your grandmother in the 1950s, squeezing yellow dye into a blob of white goop just to make toast. That was a normal Tuesday. Canada was especially serious. Quebec didn't fully legalize yellow margarine until 2008. The same decade the iPhone came out, Quebec was still fighting the margarine color war. Eventually, the laws fell apart. The dairy industry spent decades trying to make margarine look disgusting, and it still won. Number 9. Celebrating Christmas. Putting up lights and buying gifts in December used to get you fined. The Puritans who settled in America hated Christmas. In 1659, the government of Massachusetts made celebrating it illegal. You could be fined 5 shillings for any festive behavior, decorating, feasting, or even just taking the day off work. To the Puritans, Christmas was a fraudulent holiday. The Bible never says Jesus was born on December 25th. They saw it as a pagan party with a Christian label, an excuse for drinking and chaos. And they weren't entirely wrong. Christmas in Europe back then was a loud, drunken affair where the poor would mob the houses of the rich demanding food and drink. It was basically a yearly riot with decorations. The Puritans wanted nothing to do with it. The ban in Massachusetts lasted for 22 years. Even after it was lifted, Christmas wasn't a big deal in America for a long time. Congress didn't even make it a federal holiday until 1870. Everything you associate with a modern Christmas, the tree, the family dinner, the presents, was largely invented or popularized in the 1800s. The cozy holiday we know today started out as something people were arrested for enjoying. Number 8. Cars. In the late 1800s, the first cars appeared on the streets, and people absolutely lost their minds. These machines were loud, smelly, and scared horses so badly that they'd bolt into crowds of people. So, towns started banning them. In Britain, they passed the Red Flag Act in 1865. This law capped a car's speed at 4 miles per hour in the country and 2 miles per hour in towns. That's slower than walking. The law also required every car to have a crew of 3 people. 1 to drive, 1 to act as a lookout, and a third person who had to walk at least 60 yards in front of the car, waving a red flag to warn everyone that a vehicle was approaching. Basically, the world's first traffic law required you to hire a guy to jog ahead of your car. Some towns had laws requiring drivers to stop their car, get out, and wait for any approaching horse to safely pass. Imagine doing that on the highway today. The people who passed these laws genuinely believed cars were a dangerous fad that would never replace the horse. There are now over 1.4 billion cars on Earth. Number 7. Pants. In Paris, a law passed in 1800 made it illegal for women to wear trousers. That law wasn't officially repealed until 2013. The same year we had smartphones that could recognize your face. Women in Paris were technically still criminals for wearing jeans. The law did have loopholes. A woman could wear pants if she was holding the handlebars of a bicycle or the reins of a horse. The moment you got off the horse, you were breaking the law again. In the United States, many cities had masquerade laws that made it illegal to wear clothing not belonging to your sex. Women caught in pants could be arrested. In the 1850s, a woman named Amelia Bloomer began advocating for loose trousers for women. The backlash was insane. Newspapers called her a deviant. It took 2 world wars to finally change things. When men went off to fight, women took over the factories. You can't operate heavy machinery in a floor-length skirt without getting killed. So, pants on women became acceptable, not because attitudes changed overnight, but because of grim necessity. Number 6. Potatoes. Your favorite side dish was once considered an instrument of evil. When potatoes arrived in Europe from South America in the 1500s, people were suspicious. They thought this weird, lumpy vegetable caused leprosy, fever, and early death. And in a way, their fear made sense. Potatoes are part of the nightshade family, the same family as some of the most poisonous plants on Earth. So Europeans looked at this thing growing underground and said, absolutely not. In 1748, the French Parliament officially banned potatoes, declaring they caused leprosy. That ban lasted for 24 years. Then came Antoine Augustin Parmentier. He was a French army pharmacist captured by the Prussians, who fed him nothing but potatoes. He survived. He even thrived. When he returned to France, he became the world's first potato influencer. He threw fancy dinner parties serving only potato dishes. He gave potato flowers to the king and queen. His masterstroke was planting a potato field outside Paris and hiring armed guards to protect it during the day. At night, he deliberately sent the guards home. He knew people would assume something so heavily guarded must be valuable. Predictably, locals snuck in at night to steal the potatoes, took them home, and discovered they were delicious and didn't cause leprosy. The potato went from banned devil tuber to the most important crop in Europe within a generation. Number 5. Coffee. Imagine a drink so dangerous the Pope had to get involved. In the 1500s, priests demanded that Pope Clement VIII ban coffee, calling it Satan's brew, a sinful drink sent by the devil to corrupt Christians. The Pope took a sip, then blessed it, supposedly saying it would be a shame to let the infidels have all the good drinks. But the church wasn't the only one scared of coffee. In 1511, the governor of Mecca banned it because coffee houses were places where people gathered to talk and get ideas, and rulers hate when citizens get ideas. The Ottoman Sultan Murad IV allegedly made selling coffee punishable by death, not a fine, death, for coffee. Before coffee spread through Europe, most people, including children, drank weak beer or wine for breakfast because the water wasn't safe. Coffee didn't just wake people up, it sobered up an entire civilization that had been slightly drunk since birth. Some historians argue that the Age of Enlightenment was fueled in part by Europe switching from alcohol to a drink that made them think clearly. Satan's brew helped build the modern world. Number 4. Blood transfusions. Imagine your car is running out of gas. You pull over, and someone offers to help, but instead of gasoline, they pour in orange juice. That was basically the first blood transfusion. Back in the 1600s, doctors thought blood was just blood. It didn't matter where it came from, so they started pumping sheep blood into sick humans. In 1667, a French doctor named Jean-Baptiste Denis took blood from a lamb and transfused it into a dying patient. Amazingly, the patient survived the first time. Jean thought he was a genius. He was not. His next few patients died horribly as their bodies went to war with the foreign blood, causing fever, organ failure, and black urine. France banned blood transfusions entirely. England and Italy followed. For over 100 years, the idea was considered a form of murder. In the 1800s, doctors started getting better results using human blood. But the real breakthrough didn't come until 1901, when Karl Landsteiner discovered blood types. It turns out, not all human blood is the same either. Giving someone the wrong type is just as deadly. Once we figured that out, everything changed. Today, blood transfusions save about 4.5 million lives every year in the US alone, making surgery, cancer treatments, and trauma care possible. Number 3. Unregulated printing. In 1440, Johannes Gutenberg built the first printing press, and rulers everywhere instantly panicked. Before the press, spreading an idea meant writing it out by hand. Information moved slowly, which allowed kings and priests to control what people knew. The printing press destroyed that control. Suddenly, one person could print thousands of copies of anything: a pamphlet calling the king a fool, a book questioning the church, or instructions for a rebellion. So governments made unlicensed printing illegal. In England, you needed a royal license to own a press. If you were caught printing without one, you could be executed. The Catholic Church created a list of banned books that ran for over 400 years and was only abolished in 1966, but it was no use. Martin Luther used the press to print 300,000 copies of his attacks on the church in just 3 years, launching the Protestant Reformation on a sea of illegal pamphlets. Governments burned books and executed printers, but they couldn't stop the flow of information. The very act that rulers tried to kill people over is now protected as a basic human right. Number 2. Human dissection. Your surgeon knows exactly where your heart is. The only reason he knows that is because men in the 1400s started robbing graves. For most of history, cutting open a human body was illegal and sacrilegious. The church declared the body sacred. To dissect a corpse was to mess with God's work, so doctors were just guessing. They performed surgery based on books written by ancient Greeks who were also guessing. Then came the anatomists. These scientists were desperate to understand the human body, so they had to get creative. And by creative, we mean they started robbing graves. One of the pioneers was Andreas Vesalius, the father of modern anatomy, who built his career on stolen corpses. As a student, he climbed a gallows to steal the skeleton of an executed criminal, taking it down piece by piece over several nights. The grave robbery business got so organized that professional crews called Resurrection Men supplied medical schools. 2 of them, Burke and Hare, got so impatient waiting for people to die that they just started murdering them to streamline the supply chain. They killed 16 people before they were caught. Eventually, governments realized that if dissection stayed illegal, doctors and murderers would be the same people. They passed laws allowing the bodies of unclaimed paupers to be used for medical research. And because of all that illegal digging, we now have surgery that actually saves lives. Number 1. Charging interest. The entire modern financial world, banks, credit cards, mortgages, student loans, runs on one simple practice: charging interest on loans. Without it, our economy collapses. And for most of human history, it was a mortal sin. They called it usury. The Catholic Church, Islam, and ancient philosophers all condemned it. Charging interest was seen as profiting from someone else's desperation. Dante, in his famous poem about hell, put usurers in the seventh circle, alongside murderers and those who commit violence against God. In his mind, charging 5% on a loan was a crime on par with the worst sins imaginable. If you were a lender caught practicing usury in medieval England, the king could seize your entire estate, die as a known usurer, and you could be denied a Christian burial. So how did we get from there to here? As global trade exploded, merchants needed capital to fund voyages and buy goods. They needed loans. People got creative. Lenders stopped calling it interest and started calling it a fee for risk, or a penalty for late payment that just happened to start on day one. Eventually, the laws gave in to reality. England formally legalized interest in 1545. The church quietly stopped making it a central issue. The practice that once got you condemned to hell became the engine of the global economy. Your mortgage, your car loan, your credit card, it's all built on a foundation that was once considered pure evil. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.